Well, just last week, we saw Gonzaga complete their 2022 roster with the return of three starters in Drew Timme, Julian Strother, and Razir Bolton, as well as the addition of transfer and reigning mid-major player of the year in Malachi Smith. Now, we know the coaching staff is going to have their hands full this summer as they try to figure out starters, rotations, and just how to get minutes to all these guys, as it is the deepest Gonzaga squad we have seen in recent memory. But the coaching staff hasn't slowed down. They're still focused on next year's recruiting class. And just this week, we got more good Zag news as we learned that 2023 four-star 6'5 guard Kaden Cooper will be visiting Gonzaga at the end of this month. Now, the Zags have been showing him heavy interest since the spring evaluation period early in the spring when he was still rated just a three-star recruit at the time. In a recent interview, he said the teams he hears the most from right now are Gonzaga, Kansas, and Xavier. I do expect that list to grow by a lot. There will be plenty of schools vying for his services. But the Zags did a very smart thing. Scheduled his visit for June 24th. If you're not from the area, you may not realize the importance of that date, but that is the weekend of Hoop Fest. Do yourself a favor after this video. Go ahead and Google it. It is the greatest basketball event on the planet, in my opinion. Spokane is a city of about 300,000 people, and on June 24th at 6 p.m. Friday night, all of the streets of downtown will be shut down. It will transform into 425 3v3 basketball courts spanning 45 city blocks. Roughly 6,000 players in the tournament, about 200,000 people in the downtown area between players, fans, family members, all that good stuff. Hoop Fest has had Kevin Durant come through before. This is not a small event, and it really just shows recruits how crazy Spokane fans are for the game of basketball. Now with Cooper, the athletic genes that run in his family are truly impressive. It's not surprising to see the success that he's found on the basketball court. His dad was an All-American in basketball. His mom was an All-State defender in high school, and his brother was a top-rated high school football player in Oklahoma as well. Caden's seen just an absolute rapid rise through the rankings this spring. After being relatively unknown prior to last month, he's picked up over 20 offers just recently. On May 24th, Rivals had him ranked 255th in the country. May 26th, 50th in the country. That's 205 spots up the ranking. And on June 3rd, just for good measure, they bumped him up one more spot, 49th in the country, making him just inside that top 50. If you ask Kaden, maybe the biggest change in his game, according to his recent interview, was just outworking others and really learning and understanding what it meant to go 110% whenever he's on the court. If you've ever played basketball, you undoubtedly have heard that, to go 110%, but really to get it to click and just understand has really helped him transform his game and climb through the rankings. Originally out of Oklahoma, Caden has recently moved to Atlanta and is playing for the Skills Factory and Team Trae Young. With the Skills Factory, Cooper's averaging 18 points a game and just under 11 rebounds for the first 7 games. And on the Adidas circuit with Team Trae Young, he's averaging 14 points a game, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2.3 steals a game. He really can do it all on both ends of the court. But when you watch his game, the first word that comes to mind for me, I have a feeling it will for you as well once you watch his tape, and it's a word that he hears often, is bouncy. He is an elite level athlete with the ability to play above the rim at will. Now, there's a huge difference in guys who can dunk in shoot-arounds and guys who can dunk in in-game settings. Let me tell you right now, Kaden Cooper is that dude in-game. If you give him any room, he has an elite first step. He will get to the rim, and he will look to finish with authority. But more than that, one of my favorite pieces when it comes to Caden attacking the rim, this is a small thing. It's not flashy, but it just shows his maturity and his IQ. He does an exceptional job of not bringing the ball down and letting defenders swipe at it. He keeps that ball high above his head as he attacks through the lane, really allows him to use his length and just get good looks at the rim. But his game is not just limited to attacking or dunking on defenders by any means. He is a very comfortable ball handler, really excels at pushing the pace in the open court, and a very underrated passer as well. Whether it's in transition or running the pick and roll, you really see his feel running that pick and roll. He draws a lot of attention given his ability to get to the rim, and he's shown some really nice pocket passes to the rolling bigs. When you look at a system like Gonzaga, you know how much they like to run pick and rolls. He will have plenty of opportunities to shine with that. It would be a great fit if it were to happen. Now, we talk a lot about his offensive game here just now, and you might think that that's his greatest strength. But if you ask Kaden, he's going to tell you he thinks he's one of the best lockdown defenders in his class. He takes a ton of pride in his defense and his ability to guard multiple positions. In a recent interview, they asked him kind of who he modeled his game after. I absolutely love the two names he brought up. I don't think you hear a lot of recruits mention these names often. Likes to model his game after Michael Bridges and Dennis Rodman. It's just, again, names that you love to hear because these are just get it done guys that do whatever their team needs to win games. If you don't watch the current NBA, Bridges finished second in this season's Defensive Player of the Year voting. A lot of people out there think that he should have won that award as he's been just pivotal in the Suns' rise for the NBA rankings. And of course, we all know Dennis Rodman. He's a Hall of Fame player who built his career on defense and hustle. My favorite quote by Cooper when kind of mentioning these two, Rodman in specific, he mentioned had the ability to get people out of their game. And as a defender, understanding that mental side of the game and knowing how to make offensive players frustrated and uncomfortable is a huge piece that oftentimes really doesn't happen until later in their careers. It takes a little bit to, kind of click that, yes, you can be athletically gifted on the defensive end, but there's a whole mental side to that. Draymond Green is a great example of that. It is a completely different side to playing defense, and he already knows that, and he already puts it to use. With another season yet to play, it is safe to say that Cooper is only starting his climb up the national rankings. He's likely to have his choice of where he wants to play at the next level when basketball is all said. When this season of basketball is all said and done, there are a few things we know, though. Cooper has said, although there has been interest in him from pro leagues, he is not interested in going pro early. He wants to go to college, feels that experience, it was just very important to him. With going pro off the table for now, he's going to have a long list of colleges to sort through and make his decision as we move through the next year. One thing is for sure, though, the Zags have been on him since the beginning, before his impressive rise in the rankings, and with his visit later this month, we can be sure the Zags won't be backing off anytime soon.